Hey guys, Ray from Lovey RV and Boat. So we're 2 days into our trip south, and unfortunately we've had a little problem with the old Cougar trailer. We were coming down through Washington State along the Hood Canal yesterday, and about 2/3 down, quite a windy road, suddenly the trailer brakes would quit. On my Ram truck, I get a message on the dash saying trailer brake wiring issue. Sometimes it would say disconnect, and then it would be fine. So it was totally intermittent. But we stopped off in this casino called Little Creek. There's a big gravel parking lot here that you can go in and register. You can get 3 nights for $15. So that was handy because I have to troubleshoot what's going on with these trailer brakes. So on the back of the pickup there's a couple 7-pin plugs where you plug your trailer in. I'll show you that. That was the first thing I checked, of course, see if that's come loose. I thought, oh, maybe all those windy corners that the cable had come loose, but no, it was okay. And also it looks pretty good. There wasn't any really poor connections. I have a bed plug right there, so I also tried switching it over to the lower bumper plug. Still there'd be a problem. So I kind of drove it around this parking area until the problem was there, and then I stopped because it was an intermittent problem. It was kind of hard to get it to do it, but I got it where it was active so I could test things out. Also, there's a junction box in here. Up there, there's a junction box that I had replaced about a year or so ago. I replaced that, so I didn't think there was a problem in there. And then I went around underneath to each wheel, and the wires come out of each wheel, and I kind of wiggled at the wires, and when I wiggled behind this one and yelled, "Oh, problem went away." So it kind of got me thinking it's probably something at this rear axle. So I'll just crawl under there and I'll show you what I've found so far. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a problem with the wire going through the axle. They run the wires along here to these two wheels, and then they take the wire and they put it through the axle to go over to the other wheel. When I kind of posted a picture about this, I said I was having a problem. A bunch of people on YouTube and Facebook had said they had similar problems, and it was the wire inside the axle, or where it came out of the axle, was chafing, and it was shorting out and then causing havoc with the brake controller in the truck. So let's crawl under there and I'll show you what I found with that wire that leads me to believe it is a short problem. So here we are under the rear driver's side wheel, and this is the wire I had wiggled and the problem went away. So you can see the white wire coming down. That's the feed into this axle area. The black is for this brake right here, and these brown ones you can see go into the axle. There's a plastic grommet here, and they feed through the axle. And you can see everything's got pretty nice shiny copper, except this one right here is kind of blackened. So that's telling me it's probably had a lot of amperage go through it, and it's blackened the copper, but not on the return. So somewhere along the line we've got an intermittent short, is what I'm suspecting, especially with the feedback I've gotten from commenters on what I've posted on social media. So that goes into the axle there and runs to the other side. So it could be in the axle the wire gets chafed, and that would explain why it would be kind of intermittent as you're going along bumps and the wire's rolling around in the axle. But it could be something in that drum over there. So that's what I'm going to do today, try to isolate which it is. I just pulled the wire right out of there. I don't think I want to feed another one in there anyway. I've heard enough that I think I'm going to run my wires on the outside through some conduit or something Anyway, I don't know if you can see that, but there is some multiple places on this wire where it's chafed enough to go right down to the copper. There's some copper right there that's definitely exposed. Oh, a little bit out of focus. Anyway, I can see copper along there, so that's likely the problem. Let me just confirm it with my multimeter. Okay, put a lead on the area. Yes, you could hear it beeping there. And that's the blackened piece there, and that chafed area. So I think we've got the problem solved here. Yeah, there's another spot right there. It's like there's another spot right there. Multiple spots, more all the way along there. It's slowly gone through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sacrifice this extension cord for now and zip tie that to the axle, cut it, and use it as the cross feed. And then once I get somewhere where it's a little nicer, it's kind of all wet and muddy and rainy here, I'll get some nice 2-cable wire and run it through a conduit, plastic conduit, and attach it to the axle rather than run it through. Obviously this issue causes problems. Well, here's my quick and dirty temporary fix. I just don't want to be crawling on the wet, dirty ground any more than I have to, so attached to the 2 wires on that brake drum there, and then zip tied it. What an amazing invention, zip ties. Across to the other side, and then rather than crimps, I'm just gonna use some solder right now, and then good old electrical tape as a temporary fix for now, and then I'll just kind of do up the wires so they don't rub against anything. There's movement because, you know, the suspension moves up and down on there, and hopefully we'll test her out and I'll let you know if that solved our brake issues. Let's do a quick test with my trailer emergency breakaway switch. So this thing pulls off if the trailer disengages, and it pulls out this plunger, but I can pull out this plunger and I can look at the amperage with this clamp-on meter. You can see 12.55. So that's about right. Usually the brakes take around 3 to 4 amps each, so that tells me that all 4 are energized. Well, bypassing the rear axle did not solve my problem. We got a couple miles down the road and the messages started popping up again, and I was losing my trailer brakes again. So we stopped in at the closest rest stop, and I pulled the wire out of the front axle and inspected it, and it was actually worse than the rear axle. I found one area where it had rubbed through enough to cause stranding, little strands to pop out of the wiring. And so I did the same thing. Took an old extension cord and ran along there just to bypass it and strapped it on. So now both of them have been bypassed, and we've continued on, and we did about 4 hours of traveling, doing quite a bit of city braking and some heavy braking on hills, and the trailer brakes work perfectly, better than before actually. So that solved the problem. I'm just going to use that until I can get down where it's a little drier and warmer down south. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the wires inside my underbelly here, the ones that have to go across. So I'll just run them inside that underbelly and pop them down, rather than replacing them going through the axles or having them go through along here where, you know, road debris could snag on it or something, or, you know, the weathering could cause problems with the wiring. I think they'll be more protected in that underbelly. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope that helps someone in the future, and a big thank you to all the people that responded to me on social media and by email, giving me tips on this and telling me about their experiences. Till next time, Ray from Love You RV and Boat. Cheers, everyone.